with Abby's persistence, and little by little she succeeded in waking each and every person. Minutes later, they were all helping out, removing bottles and empty cans, wiping down counters and tables, and vacuuming the carpet. Soon, Meg started to breathe less raggedly and calmed down, thinking she was actually going to pull this off. They were going to make it. "See?" Abby said and came up to her. "We're almost done. Your mom will never know you had a party while she was out of town. I promise." Meg nodded, actually believing her, until something outside the big sliding glass windows caught her eye, and her heart stopped beating. "There's a girl in the pool. There's a girl in the pool." Meg stared through the window, pointing and clasping her mouth. "What?" Abby said and dropped the garbage bag in her hand. The contents clattered as it landed on the tiles. Abby came up next to Meg, who could barely breathe. The words coming out of her mouth were spoken between ragged breaths. "There's a girl." "What are you talking about?" "Meg, you look all pale. What is—" Abby turned her head and looked out the window. She spotted the bobbing, colorful lump at the bottom of the clear pool outside, then let out a slight gasp. "Are you sure? It kind of looks more like it could just be some clothes. Maybe someone threw clothes in the pool. Or maybe it's a doll?" Meg shook her head. "No, I think it's—" Abby put a hand on her shoulder. "Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's go have a look. I'm sure you're wrong." Abby grabbed the sliding doors and pulled them open. She walked out, Meg coming up right behind her. Inside the house, all activity had ceased, as all eyes were on the two girls, who were walking out into the screened-in pool area. The bright sunlight glistened on the water, and the humid Florida air hit their faces and wrapped them like a blanket. Meg felt sick to her stomach as they approached the pool. As they came closer, Abby hesitated and stopped. Then she swallowed and looked up at Meg, who was taller than her. "Wait, I think you might be right. The hair, it can't be." Meg let out a resounding whimper as the realization sank into both of them. "What do we do?" she squealed, bending forward and throwing out her arms. "What are we going to do?" "Okay, let me just think for a second," Abby said. Her eyes fell on two guys that had stepped out on the back porch and were staring at the girl in the water. "You two, come here and help me," she said. "We need to get her out of the water right now." The two boys rushed to Abby and took off their t-shirts, then jumped in. The tallest guy dove down and grabbed the girl's clothes, then pulled her toward the surface, where Abby and the other guy held on to her, then pulled her up onto the deck. As they did, she rolled onto her back, and the hair slid from her face so they could see who she was. Bobby, the guy on the right, immediately recoiled when seeing her face.
"What the—"
The other guy, Trevor, screamed and let go of her shoulders. He pulled away, crabbing on his hands and feet to get away from her body.
What?
Abby let out a shriek. They all three looked up at Meg, their eyes questioning. "It's—" Abby said, stuttering and barely able to find the words. "It's—"
"It's you!"
Trevor took over. They stared at Meg like they expected her to have all the answers. Instead, she shook her head in disbelief, staring intensely at the girl's face. "It's me?" Part 1. 5 hours later. Cocoa Beach, Florida. Chapter 1. "Wait, can you explain this again?" I looked at my 16-year-old daughter, sitting in front of me at the dining room table at our house. She had asked to talk, and then I made hot chocolate for both of us, put whipped cream on top, then added a marshmallow to each cup. Olivia had rolled her eyes at me as I served it to her, and told me I was making too big a deal out of it. I had told her that it was so rare these days that my daughters wanted to chat with me, so I felt it was appropriate and pulled out the bag of Oreos to go with it. Maybe I was just looking for an excuse to indulge a little, since I had been dieting for 2 weeks and doing really well.